to the Miracle Test Series of 2022, and today we are dealing with Science and Technology portion of this test series. Now, when we talk about Science and Technology and this Miracle Test Series of 2022, we have 10 tests in this test series, and each test will have 50 questions. That means this test series is going to give you approximately 500 questions from Science and Technology. That means a huge question bank. But before starting up with these 10 tests, we need to know why this test series is important for you and why you should attend any of the questions or attempt all these test series questions. Now, when we talk about the administrative services preparation, be it your UPSC, state services, or any other examination which have your science and technology as your subject, then there comes a major portion in this examination, any of these examinations, as your science and technology. So when we specifically talk about your UPSC, there are 16 to 20 questions every year which are from this section only. And when we talk about these questions, they are divided into two types. Now, 3 to 4 questions will be of your direct type. That means that is belonging to your static portion of science and technology. That means the knowledge you have gained from either your NCERTs or the very basic books where you study your science and technology. Now, the other type of questions, which will be approximately 14-15 questions you have, they are basically based on your current affairs. That is the major portion. So you cannot mix this portion, that is current affairs. So your Hindu becomes important, your current affairs every month like PIB or other sites which we refer becomes very, very important, because these major portion, that is approximately 30 marks out of your total marks, are very, very crucial. Now, what do you mean by when we say that these questions are from current affairs? How are we going to remember so many news regarding your science and technology? Now, you don't have to cram up everything, but when we talk about current affairs, everything which is related to science and technology, and most importantly, when we study science and technology, it is very important that we study only the current affairs which are related to science and technology and the basics related to these current affairs. Because when we notice the pattern of UPSC, what happens is they will not give you everything under the sun which is related to science and technology. The only topics which are mentioned in the last 1 year current affairs, okay, related to that, the basic portion, okay, and the static and the dynamic part related to these topics only will be asked in your examination. So when you say that the science and technology is vast, that is not a thing to be scared of. You have to study only things related to that, because the major portion here is related to that only. Now, when we talk about that the preparation should be from all these sources, it is very important you should develop an understanding of your basic part. How are you going to develop this understanding of science and technology? You need to understand before studying for this examination what is the syllabus of science and technology. Related to that only you will study the basics or the current affairs or anything you are referring for science and technology. You will study related to these topics only. So when we talk about basics, they are your NCERTs, okay? 9th to 12th, basically. From when we talk about NCERT, 6th to 10th, sorry, this will be 6th to 12th. 6th to 10th NCERTs are the very basics. When we talk about 11th and 12th, then you have to study the selected portion, okay? That is in your chemistry, physics, or biology. Basically, the chemistry and the bio part is very, very important. Physics, there is a little part, so you can study that. Then when we talk about the syllabus of UPSC and science and technology, then you have to study the topics related to space. Then you have IT and telecom and electronics. Then you have defense. Then you have achievements of Indians in science and technology. Then you have renewable energy, biotechnology, and you have some more topics which are related to your nuclear energy, robotics, nanoscience, and nanotechnology. Now, I have given you briefly all the topics, but these topics are very wide and broad. Their syllabus is broad when we talk about biotechnology. What kind of technologies you will study? So many technologies are there, but UPSC has defined certain parameters, and based on that, this syllabus you have to follow. That is the focus areas in these topics. The basics I've told you, the NCRTs, here you have to focus on. Then when we talk about the basics, the NCRTs, as I told you, 6th to 10th, then 11th and 12th, so you will study physics, chemistry and biology. When we talk about space, you have to focus on satellite communication in India. Whatever satellites India is launching or the technology is developed by India. Then you have specifically the inset satellite applications, remote sensing applications, cryogenic rockets, global positioning system, role of space in development, ISRO as soft power, and issues of space race, then space activities bill 2017, and this is just an example. There are further more policies which are related to space, so you have to focus on that. Now, you may ask, where are you going to study these from? These are all there in your newspapers. Everyday newspapers will focus on these, and so you just have to keep a good eye that you don't miss out these topics in your newspaper. Then you have outer space treaties, you have to focus on that also. Similarly, the other topics, the bifurcation is given here, like in your IT and telecom electronics, IT industry in India, then applications of information technology, display technologies, telecommunication, government initiatives, contemporary debates also regarding IT and telecom and electronics. Why we are saying this? Because clearing your prelims is not the only target. Then you have mains and interview also. So these debates, when you study, obviously you're not going to study that I have cleared the prelims examination. I will study these debates in your mains. For example, atomic energy related debate is there. You are studying the facts related to prelims. You will study the debates along with that only, because the in-depth knowledge regarding that will be from here only. So these are related to your mains as well as your interview questions. Then comes the defense. Then you have missile system and its classifications. Then India's missile system, India's ballistic missile defense system, UAV in India, stealth technology, chemical weapons, biological weapons, nuclear weapons, etc. will be there. Now then comes your nanoscience and nanotechnology. So you will focus on the 5 key areas, that is nanotechnology and nanomaterials, then applications, then health and environmental impacts. Because in many of times you have noticed in newspapers that everything we are studying, we are discussing about what is the environmental impact of a particular technology or the particular fertilizer or pesticides in agriculture being used, and many more. So this environmental impact of nanotechnology is also very important, you have to study. Then comes your social and ethical impacts of nanotechnology and nanoscience and nanotechnology in India. That is basically what is the development of nanotechnology in India, what kind of technology is developed by India, who is developing these nanotechnologies, and who is the governing body. So you have to study regarding that also. Then the next topic comes is your robotics. Then in robotics, we have 3 main areas which you will never miss: robotics and artificial intelligence. This word is mentioned almost 3-4 times in a month, very commonly. So this becomes very important. Then applications, and the applications which are being used in India. Then comes your robotics and issues of unemployment, okay? Then the next is your nuclear energy. Now, you may say that the nuclear energy, why it is important? Now, every nation we hear about that is trying to become a nuclear power. So this nuclear power is not related to only warfare, but also to energy, and it becomes very important. So the key areas will be nuclear power policy of India, how India is dealing with this, what are the developments, then new energy applications of nuclear energy, impacts of radiation, issue of radioactive waste, because this waste is impacting our environment. So disposal of radioactive waste is very important topic. Then institutions involved in nuclear energy development and nuclear and radiological disasters also. Then the next topic is your biotechnology. You will focus on the applications, the projects in this, and the issues of biopiracy, bioinformatics, then biotechnology and IPR issues, and ethical dimensions in biotechnology. Okay, so the next will be, the section in science will be your renewable energy. See, here it was nuclear energy, here it is renewable energy. So both the kind of energy sections we have to study in science. Here we will talk about OTEC, what is that? That is ocean thermal energy conversion. and the concept of green building also, tidal wave, geothermal energy, fuel cells, etc. Now you may say that few of these topics are in geography also, like the tidal energy, the wave energy, etc. We study a little portion in geography. So why these are in science? Now when we talk about specifically UPSC, you cannot say that one topic, that is science and technology, is purely science and technology. Every topic is interrelated. Like you can see here, geographical knowledge or the knowledge of your geography from NCRTs or the other sources you may refer is related here. When you don't have that knowledge, it will be difficult to understand these topics. So when we talk about UPSC and this preparation, it is a complete preparation. You cannot do it in portions. You have to interlink your subjects. Now the next is the achievements of Indians in science and technology. That means the developments we have done, what are our achievements at the world level, at the national level, and at the state levels. So the topics are the scientists of ancient India, who were important for us for the past developments, then science and scientists of your medieval India. Now these portions are the portions where you should have a knowledge about these. Now the direct question may not be here in your examination from this, but you should be able to remember if a certain statement in certain question is there from these topics. Then you have scientists of modern India, policies and reports related to science, then technology vision document of 2035. Why 2035 is mentioned here? Because we are in 2022. Now the next 13-14 years, what India is planning for our development in technological section, so we should know that. Then we should know the policies related to national biotechnology development, that is the strategy from 2015 to 2022. And you should also know that 2021 and 2022, what are the developments in this and the updates in this, okay? Now the National Intellectual Property Rights Policy, then policy on synthetic biology, and Law Commission reports on human DNA profiling. Now this topic is related to your gene editing, etc. So you should know about that also. So you should not get confused that what you have to study in science and technology. You have to focus on these areas only. And then the questions we are going to attempt in this test series will be from these sections, and every test is divided into topic-wise. That is, one test is on nuclear energy, another is on your biotechnology, so that you have complete coverage of a topic, okay? Now, when we talk about the syllabus, the next thing is the preparation strategy. How are you going to prepare it? Because just attempting the questions will not clear your examination. This is a process of 1 year. Why the UPSC is giving you 1 year? Because that is the preparation year. So a strategy must be there. What will be that strategy? You will strengthen your foundation. I gave you the key for strengthening your foundation. That is your NCRTs. You will understand all the basics from the NCRTs. Because, for example, you don't study your NCRTs. You study your current affairs. Every day you are preparing for civil services and you are doing your newspaper. Every day you are spending 3.5 hours in, because you are studying the newspaper in very detail. Okay? Then you are visiting the different sites of different government websites also, PIB also, etc. But how are you going to understand the news when you don't have a basic? You will not be able to. And there is so much to study in science, you will not be able to cram everything. So you have to have basics. That is, your foundation should be strong, so NCRTs are must. They are simple and easy to understand, so everybody will be able to understand. Doesn't matter you are from science background, arts or commerce, because this examination is for average students, not for specialized. So if you have to attempt a science and tech question, that doesn't mean you have to be a master in science. You just need to have average detailed knowledge of whatever topic you are attempting a question of. Then these NCRTs will give you conceptual clarity. Now, why this is important? For example, when we talk about the questions which are there in UPSC examination, like I told you that there can be 3 levels of questions. First of all, easy. Then you have medium level. Then you have difficult questions. Now, when we talk about difficult questions or easy or the medium questions, now these questions will also be divided into subcategories. And what are these categories? So there are 4 types of questions. First one is the common sense questions. Now, what are these questions? They are directly from your NCRTs, or you know this knowledge. Whatever you have studied in your general science, they are related to generally that. You don't have to think much about them. You have read about it, so you will answer this question, this type of question. Then comes the factual question. Now, what are they? Now let's take an example of litmus paper. For example, if we dip litmus paper in a solution, either it will be blue or red. So we know if it is acidic or basic. Now these are the facts. You will not change it. They are been proven by the experiments. This is a fact which will remain the same. So this kind of questions are also there. Now the third type of question are your conceptual questions, where we are using more than one fact plus common sense plus some concept which is given in our books. So this kind of questions are there. Now then you have analytical questions. What are they? Now in this, what you are using everything you have studied in these. Plus you are using your current affairs also. You have your policies which you have studied related to science and technology. You will use everything you have studied in this kind of a questions, because the statements will want you to withdraw conclusions. It will require you to read between the lines. Okay, so this kind of a questions are there. And in all these 4 types of questions, again you have 3 types of questions I told you: easy, medium and difficult level. So this was about the kind of questions which are being asked in UPSC. That is why this conceptual clarity becomes very, very important, and the NCERT again becomes very, very important. Now, as I told you, analytical type of questions are also there. So developing your analytical skills, because we will study various type of concept in NCERTs, and interlinking of these concepts will be developed here. So reading, you cannot skip your NCERTs when we talk about science and technology, not at all. Now there are some direct questions in UPSC also from your NCERTs, because what UPSC does is when they have to form easy questions. Now UPSC knows that everybody is studying NCERTs, okay? So they prefer some questions, like 2 or 3 questions basically, which are being the direct statements of your NCERTs, because they also want that students should not get demotivated that they didn't know even a question of science and technology. Now let's move further. Now the only key for your 100% success in your science and technology questions is your knowledge, which you will gain through your books, detailed knowledge. Then you have practice. When you say practice, here comes the test series which you have to attempt. Okay, so this miracle test series becomes very, very important for you to succeed. Okay.